Oh, we coming on here sipping the fucking lattes and shit. Oh, you know
Yeah,
we about to go
man.
in now.
Shit. Hey, man. Look, I'm fancy, man.
Yeah, I see that. Got
I'm
the
a
little
fancy
pinky
Negro.
up cup.
Yes, yeah. I'm one of them uppity Negroes. I'm one of them uppity Negroes. Uh, yes, sir. Game within a game. We are back, man. We are back, man. Like we never left.
Same time, same place.
Yes, sir. I am Mr. Ransom Duffel Bag. You know me as Ransom, but Randy Nichols is what you call me.
I am Jason Lamar. I've probably called you a bitch many times, but here we are.
Yes, sir. And as always, we're gonna get into some real deep shit today.
Some interesting shit.
Interesting stuff. But as usual, I'll go through the naming of the podcast, and here we go. This one is gonna be simple, man. Okay.
Sometimes simple is the best.
You know, I'm a simple motherfucker. I don't, simplicity is my forte. So the name of this particular pod will be choices.
Choices. I like it. It has a nice little ring to it. You know, nice and simple, but leaves room for complexity.
Yes, yeah, man. Come on now. It always can't be. I can't always be all intricate and shit like that. Sometimes you gotta,
Sometimes it's intricacies in the things that seem the most simple though. So we'll unpack it though.
we'll unpack it, and yeah. So let me get into some choices. Something, it's crazy, man. Something happened to me today. Told you a little bit off camera, but now that we're on camera or off air, now that we're on air, I would love to share it with you. Today, Jay, was probably one of the greatest days of my life.
Okay.
Yeah. Bear with me. It's a little bit of a story. So I'll take you on a journey. So my 8-year-old, she's a little angel. Her school chose her to represent the school in a singing challenge. Right?
Oh. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
We got pause for congratulations on that, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I wish we had the applause button. I would
Yeah,
hit
I
it.
was just
Yeah.
thinking about this little thing does it, but I don't know if it'll pick up on here. So
Yeah. Nah, yeah. So that's a big thing, right? But
yeah,
here's
that's
the thing.
huge.
Yeah, it's huge. So but she's real. My daughter's real shy, super introverted, kind of like me. Um, but super talented, but just real shy, right? So this thing is actually tomorrow, and then we're filming. It was Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday, so this competition is Saturday, right? So she's been practicing performance, right? And she's singing Celine Dion, that big song she has. Uh she chose to sing that song. So she's been practicing, and the thing is, the teacher has been trying to get her out her shell, right? And she's so shy, right? So yesterday she had to practice and sing in front of the school, right? After school. So I wasn't there. My wife went to go pick her up, and she's telling me the story. And she froze in front of the whole school, right? Yeah, freezes, right? So she's been having trouble, like, you know, getting out of her shell. And so she comes home, and I asked her, I've tried everything to try to, get her out of her shell. And so I asked her, I said, my method this time was going to be tough love, right? So I said, listen, you got a choice, right? You either do this thing or you don't. We're going to have to pull you out of the competition, which is tomorrow. This day, we're talking about Wednesday when I was having this conversation with her. So listen, these are your choices. You either, toughen up, knock this thing out, or we could pull you out of the competition. And look, and, me and my wife gave her an ultimatum. Like, listen, nobody's going to think less of you. And then I'm like, look, it's not for everybody. Performing in front of people, this is not. So it was kind of like a test. I'm not gonna lie. This thing was like a test, and she was like, no. She started crying and she's bawling, and I'm like, hey man, make a choice. What's it gonna be? She was like, no, no, no. I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. I was like, well, Autumn, we can't put you on a stage in front of hundreds of people, and you're not gonna be ready. Like, we're not gonna do that. She was like, no, I don't want, no, no. She's crying. I was like, all right, man. So today she had to sing in front of the school, just for practice. And I said, listen, if you don't get it done today, then you can't perform on Saturday. These are your choices. Either you knock this out today or you don't perform. She was like, all right, I got this. She was like, I don't want anyone to take my place. This is what she said. This 8-year-old, she was like, I don't want anyone to take my place and get my shot. This is my dream. I was like, really? Right? So today we go to pick her up and she's has to perform, and she knocked it out the park, man. She chose to fight for this thing. She chose to fight for this thing. And I couldn't be prouder, man, because we gave her the option to quit. We gave her the option to quit, and she said, hell no. I would never do that. She was like, I'd rather be embarrassed. And she knocked it out the park. And I said, guess what? And after that, she was so proud of herself. And and she asked me, well, can I perform now Saturday? I was like, you earned it. You fought for it. You made the right choice. She was like, I was so happy that I made this choice, Dad. She was like, I wanted to quit, but she was like, I just didn't want anyone to take my spot. She was like, I would have never lived it down in her head. She was angry. She got angry that she messed up, and she wanted this, and she fought for it, and she made the right choice. So, yeah, I thought that
Yeah,
that
one
would be an appropriate name for today's cast about choices, because the hard choice, and I told her the hard choices are usually the right ones, right? It's easy. The easy choices are 90% are going to be the wrong choice, man. It's an easy way out. And I tried to give it to her, and she would not take it. She would not take it. So this podcast is dedicated to my little 8-year-old, because she, at 8 years old, made a choice that usually a lot of grown-ups don't make that choice, right?
I was about to say exactly that same thing. There was a lot of grown men who would have passed up on that opportunity because they were too scared of failure. But she did absolutely the right thing and said, I don't want to let this opportunity pass me by. I'd rather fall flat on my face than not try and wonder what it could have been, because that's what you're going to hate yourself forever for. So yeah, we are absolutely dedicating this episode to her. And there are a bunch of grown men out there who could learn a whole bunch of lessons from that right there.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Autumn, I'm
Autumn,
proud of
I'm
you. You
proud of you.
made me
You made
proud.
me
Like I
proud.
said,
Like I
the
said, the
happiest day,
happiest day,
really the
really the
happiest day of my
happiest day of
life,
my life,
man.
man.
In a
And a
decent
decent
segue,
segue,
a decent
a decent
segue,
segue,
right,
right,
into
into
choices.
choice.
And I was
And
gonna,
I was gonna,
and I was
and I
gonna
was gonna
start off
start
with
off
with,
with
because
because
over this
over
last
this
week,
last week,
me and you
me
have
and you
been
have been
texting back and
texting back and
forth and
forth and
kind of
kind of
watching
watching
things
things
transpire
transpire
on
on
X,
X,
with
with
Kanye
Kanye
and the
and the
choices
choices
that he chose
chose
to make
to make
and he
and he
continues to
continues
make,
to make,
and
and
the choices
choices
that
that
the
the
audience
audience
chooses to
chooses
take
to take
in
in
regards
regards
to the
to the
stance
stance
that they
that
take
they take
or the
or the
opinion that they
opinion
have
that
with
they
him.
have. And
Um, I pulled a
pulled
couple
a
of
couple,
tweets that was
that was
interesting to me.
interesting.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
I'm
you have
sure you have
a couple
a couple
in your
in your
bag, but
bag, but
there was
there was
one.
one,
There was one that
one
kind of
that kind
struck
of
me,
struck me.
and I want to
I want
handle
to
this
handle
with
this with
care, right?
care,
So you're gonna
right?
have
So
to
you
bear
have to
with me.
be
Okay.
Real delicate. Um, the slavery is a choice.
I had a
Yeah, man.
feeling that that's the one you were gonna pick.
Choices, right? I I know it was a good segue. Yeah,
Great
yeah.
segue.
So yeah. And I just want people to think about that for a second because I understand the normal outrage, right? When you hear that, because it's kind of triggering, right? Pe- Especially black folks hear slavery and choice, and those two words put together is like, yo, oh wait, oh whoa, hey, what is he trying to say? Oh, this guy's disrespecting our ancestors, this and that, whatever you may think of it. Um, Me, I don't choose to, I don't waver right, wrong. I just choose to critically think. I like to,
Lost art nowadays.
yeah. I just like to critically think about this shit, right? So I'm like, slavery is a choice. And we're disrespecting our ancestors by saying that it wasn't a choice. Okay, so I say to that, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not wavering right or left or right or wrong, right? So Nat Turner, right, as it was written, was famous slave rebellion, or and he was it 18? I wrote it down. It was 1830 something, right? Um, I just wonder if he chose. I think he chose to run, right, or chose to fight. No, hear me out.
No.
So
I'm
just
waiting.
think,
I'm here for it.
yeah, Jay, just think about it, right? So when
I'm following
slavery,
you.
right? So I'm thinking, and I'm like, so there are, there had to be millions of slaves that was like, yo, listen, I'm not gonna do this, or you can't rape my wife, or you can't, I'm not doing this, or I'm not going on that ship, or I'm not doing, and they, you know, suffered the consequences. Are we not disrespecting them by saying they didn't make a choice? Now, I'd say this. I'd say this. Just because your choices may be difficult, that doesn't mean you do not have any, right? So your choice may be death, castration, whipping, whatever the case may be. Or, yo, look, I'm running or I'm out, like Nat Turner, right? As was written. If we're going by, of course, we always say here that history is written by the victorious. So I'm thinking whatever was written, it was 100 times worse than what was written, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, let me put myself in the shoes of a Nat Turner, and he's like, he goes back and he's like, hey man, I ain't got no choice. We might as well not even, we ain't got no choice. I might as well just sit here and pick the cotton. We ain't got no choice, right? We don't have one. So if that man tried to run for his life or escape and whatever, and rebel, isn't that a choice? I don't understand. Is it all right? So, yeah, that it's crazy. I'm asking you, Jay. Is that a? Did he make a choice?
He absolutely 1000% made a choice.
With that being said, with that being said, it's tough. But if you think about it, when someone says, "Well, it wasn't slavery," you either you chose to live with these circumstances, like fuck it, I'm trying to survive, or you was like, man, fuck that, you ain't doing this to me, and you either got killed or suffered the horrifying repercussions. But you had choices. I believe that everyone has a choice, and to believe that you do not have a choice, I hate that way of thinking. So when and I don't paint Kanye to be the fucking messiah, prophet, genius, whatever. I love a couple of albums, great musician. So I don't paint him to be. And I'm just going off of what he said and trying to extrapolate what he was talking about, right? So I'm I'm asking you, Jay, what do you think?
Yeah,
Let's say Nat Turner, was it a choice? Did he make a choice? Right, he made a choice, didn't he?
He 1000% made a choice. So I'm going to do something that I don't usually do here and approach this delicately. So I'm gonna start off on another thing because everybody's so fucking sensitive about everything. Have you ever seen the movie Saw?
Yes.
At the end of the
Wow.
first Saw, spoiler alert to all people who haven't seen a fucking 30-year-old movie, but at the end of the first Saw, the main Saw victim, whatever the fuck it is that you would like to call him, finds himself in a bathroom chained up with a choice. You can sit in this disgusting dark-ass bathroom and starve to death and die of fucking probably some sort of infection and starvation and all of that stuff. Or you could take this rusty hacksaw, cut your foot off, and crawl your ass out there to try and have a chance at living. Now, both of his options suck. However, he still had two choices. Just because neither of them were pleasant, it does not mean that he did not have an option. And I think that a lot of people wind up with the viewpoint that because they don't have good options, they don't have any options. And those are not the same thing at all. There are very, very, very few scenarios in which you have literally zero options.
Children. Children don't have
Children,
many
yes, absolutely. As a grown-ass adult, you are very rarely in a scenario where you don't have a choice. You might not like your choices. People talk about their shitty relationships all of the time, and they're like, well, I can't leave because I don't have anywhere to go. That's not true. You can leave. You just don't like where it is that you would wind up at. But you still have a choice. And because you have a choice, if you're not choosing the other choice, you're choosing your current thing. So if you're not choosing to leave, whether that means you'll be homeless, whether that means that you'll have to sleep in your car, whatever the case, if you're not choosing to do that, you are choosing to stay and be in that relationship. If that guy did not choose to cut off his foot, he would have been choosing by default to starve to death in that dirty ass bathroom. So to what Kanye was saying, to what you brought up with the Nat Turner thing, if you're not choosing to take it upon yourself to depart, you are choosing to stay there. Now, you might not like what happens to you if you depart, and I understand that. I'm not suggesting that it would have been pleasant. I'm not suggesting that anyone has good options, but there are
No.
very few scenarios where no one has any options. And a lot of it comes down to, because if you think about it again, taking it in a different direction because everybody's so fucking sensitive, if you take a look at a prison, right? Prisoners only exist in the prison due to the cooperation of the vast majority of people. They vastly outnumber the guards. If they just decided, hey, we're not doing this anymore, then what's going to happen? What are you going to do? A couple of you will die, absolutely. But see, that's where people get hung up in. No one is willing to risk their life. And because no one is willing to risk their life, everyone winds up sacrificing their life. So it's a choice. And it was a choice in that capacity, too. I'm not saying it was a good choice. I'm not saying that...
Horrible choice.
Absolutely. Terrible choice. Horrible. Absolutely. I'm not saying that that they were less or whatever the case may be for making that choice. But I do think that the idea that it's disrespectful to them or disrespectful to anybody to point out that they could have done something different it's a ridiculous concept in which so many people have that to honor or respect somebody means to absolutely praise and appreciate and acknowledge the things that they did without having said that anything could have gone differently. I remember, this is a odd type thing, but when it was a few years ago, Mark Wahlberg had said something about if he was on the plane from 9/11, it would have gone differently. And everyone got mad, and they're sitting there saying like, oh, how dare you suggest they could have done something different. And it's just a really it's a nonsensical concept. Like, I understand that something tragic happened, right? But that doesn't mean that people couldn't have made different choices. People always have choices in a situation. And by that token, to some degree, being a victim is also a choice.
Yeah, and wouldn't you say, I'd take it a step further when people say, it's disrespectful to kind of say that someone had this choice, even though it was a horrible choice. I would kind of think it was disrespectful to the ones who actually made a choice, to the millions and millions of ones like, yo, dog, you're gonna have to kill me. Like, shouldn't we be cheering those dudes?
You
Like,
should
yo, those,
champion the
yo,
people who did the braver thing.
yeah, like
They
the
risked their
harder thing.
lives.
And I started off this show by pointing out hard choices, right? Of course, it's two totally different things. I'm not trying to say it's the same thing, but life is about hard ass choices. And it kind of like resonates today. And this is why I kind of bring this stuff up. Like today, we kind of replicate the same type of ideologies, almost like. So if you tell somebody, if you ask somebody, if somebody says, "Hey man, look man, I hate my fucking boss. This job sucks. The pay is lousy. I need to be out of here." And you say, "Hey man, just fucking quit." What they're gonna be like, "Nah, man, I need money. I don't have a choice. I need money." No, you got a choice. It just the choices fucking suck, but you have a choice. So today is we kind of take on the same thinking. Well, I don't have a choice. Yo, dog, like, yo, you why don't you get a better job? Oh, well, I can't. I ain't got a choice. I ain't got a choice. I don't have a choice. Children, children they don't have choices, right? Children don't ask to be brought into this world. It's a whole bunch of stuff that some of them can't even, most of them can't defend themselves against children don't have choices. If you're a grown ass person, you got choices. They might suck, but you have them, right? You have them. So I just thought that, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that, I'm just going over what the man tweeted or what he's been, or what he got in trouble for, or what not in trouble, but what people kind of gravitated to. And I'm just pointing out that what he said was, I understood it maybe more than others. I don't, like I said, I'll put the ball in other people's court, whether to agree or not. We are here to read between the lines, right? So that's kind of what we're doing, presenting different scenarios. If you want to, you could listen to what we're saying. I think we make sense. I believe so.
I think that so exactly what you said, and people see it and they get outraged at it, right? But they do so without taking the time to actually contemplate on the content of what's being said. And they get offended because they hear that slavery was a choice, and they're like, "Oh, that's such a fucked up thing to say. Why would anyone choose that?" Without taking it down any other sort of paths of consideration. And they're just thinking that people decided to give up their freedom to be slaves or some shit like that, or in the same exact sense that people are deciding to slave away at a minimum wage job or whatever, rather than making a bunch of money, which in that scenario is technically what it is that they're deciding to do, because they're not willing to go out and do what it takes to better themselves. They just want to stay where it is that they are. But people are so determined to be upset by things nowadays that they don't take the time to go over the content of what is actually being said. And since we're on the topic of Kanye, that was the biggest point that I wanted to bring up, is everyone is so focused on being mad about the individual things that he said. Well, he said this, and this is anti-Semitic. He said this, and this is homophobic. He said this, and this is fatphobic. This is whatever the fucking case may be. That nobody is actually taking the time to ask the question of, is what he's saying true? Is there accuracy in these statements that he's making? People are just talking about how outrageous and inflammatory and hateful all of this shit is. And as
they
we've
very
talked
well
about,
might be. They very well might be to some, but that doesn't mean it's right or wrong, right? It just
it has nothing to do with the right or wrongness. But I don't think most people even get to that
yes,
point, because
right.
I think, and we talk about this before, so if we're taking it a level deeper, though, I believe a lot of that is by design, because people throw out these different labels whenever you say stuff and want to call something racist immediately without addressing what it is that's being said, right? Or specifically against Kanye, it's the anti-Semitism thing, right? And skipping over for a moment what exactly it is that he's saying, I think the problem, and let's take it away from this, because again, I know everybody's so fucking sensitive about everything. But if I was to sit here and say that people with tattoos commit crimes, right? The standard response from the standard people would be to call that tattooist or some shit, some form of discrimination. And everyone will attack the wording of it and what it is that I'm saying. I'm discriminating against people who have tattoos. I'm discriminating against people with ink in their skin, whatever the fucking case may be, and it's hateful towards them. And that allows them to sidestep the actual substance of the claim, which the substance of the claim being that those sorts of people commit crimes. And that's what no one is addressing there. They're focusing on the dressing as opposed to the interior. And I believe that that's by design, and that's why people have weaponized these types of things, like the various phobias and isms, to just immediately drop it on something that someone says so that people can dismiss it or say that it's a harmful thing to say without acknowledging what's actually being said. Because again, you could take what I'm saying about the people with tattoos and act like I'm being hateful because I said it, and everyone will focus on that, and no one will stop to contemplate and say, well, why is he saying these people commit crimes? And is there some truth to what he's saying about these people committing crimes?
Right. I'd add this too, right? There is a thing called tact, and I don't think Kanye has it. Right? Just to come out and say, "Hey, man, slavery was a choice," like that's just stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's just dumb. You know what I mean? Like this is has no tact. He adds no context to it. It's just he's just slavery was a choice. Like, dog, you're gonna have to explain that one. Like, you feel me? Like that's one you're gonna have to break down, and then you shouldn't have to let us break it down for you, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is a such thing as tact, bro. Like, and timing, and let's I want to add this too. Y'all take people too seriously, like especially entertainers, man. Like, when you got an album about to come out, dog, like it's not that serious, dog. Like, oh my god, and if you do agree with him, it's oh he's your here's your gold or whatever. Like, I don't look at these dudes like that. That's for y'all. I'm just this is news, so all right, so we gonna try to explain, what we think about the situation. But I don't look at this dude. He's a great producer, rapper. Well, not he's a good musician.
He makes
I'll
good
leave it
music.
at that. I'll leave it at that. Like, he's not no prophet or anything. We just gonna, he. I don't know why you guys take it so seriously. Like, he about to drop an album. I guarantee this is a rollout, dog. Like, come on, like, be for real. Y'all fall for the same shit every time. And I don't mean I like him or dislike him. I like the shit, but I'm just saying, like, you're taking it too seriously.
So, going to what you said about tact, I both agree and I also disagree to a point, because it's like we said a similar thing just now, but elaborated on it, right? There are
Mm-hmm.
some people who are going to hear this and only focus on the parts that upset them. It doesn't matter what's being said to a lot of people. So, like, you can say the most well thought out point. Let's go with what I say all of the time about depression not being real. I can make the most well thought out argument in the world, and I can cite all kinds of stuff and give all kinds of reasons and stories and examples and everything. But the people who don't want to accept it aren't going to accept it, no matter what it is that I say. So whether I just leave it at that or I elaborate on it and give some whole entire fucking dissertation with research and all kinds of shit behind that, it's not going to matter to the people who want to be upset about it or who want to be outraged about it. It's also not going to matter in the other end to the people who are just going to agree with me regardless of what it is that I say. And I think that it's a very small minority in the middle who are open-minded enough to be swayed in either direction. Like, they hear this point that maybe they hadn't thought about before, and they're like, oh, interesting. Well, why is he saying that? And they're actually open to listening to it and forming their own opinions. But most people don't fall into that camp. And I also believe that the people who fall into the middle of it will take it upon themselves to flesh out what it is that he's saying for themselves. So I don't know to what degree how he's saying it matters. Now, again, it's a wild ass thing to say, especially in all caps at fucking midnight on
Pretty
Twitter.
much.
Absolutely. I'm not taking away from that. I'm just saying that I think no matter what it is that he put it as, there are people who are going to be outraged by it, and there are people who are going to agree with it, and there's a small amount of people who are going to think it over.
Well, there is a such thing as who's saying it. Yeah, so you're right. Like, maybe, yeah, it's who's saying it. It's like Draymond Green getting a foul. Like, he's probably gonna be a technical because of who's fouling the person. If you have a reputation of being this person, it'll, yeah, definitely, yeah. But I will agree to disagree. I think that when you speak, and it's more not for the audience, it's for personal growth. You should use tact. You know, he should be grown and learn these lessons that because he's just come on, man. He's been doing this shit for years and being attacked for you. It's like learn tact. But not for us, not for who's listening, not for who because you
Yeah,
like you
for your
said,
own personal sake.
right, for your own personal sanity, use a little bit of tact. So at least you could be like, well, look, I told,
I tried, yeah.
I tried, like I tried, dog. Like, so just for that fact. And there's another thing too. I read the tweets and I'm like, and I did take him as entertainment. And I might not look at him as this messiah or prophet or whatever the case may be that other people may look at like, yo, he's, but I do see him for what he is. And I'd say this, he's, he's worth a lot of money and he's seen things that I haven't seen. He's been around people I haven't been around. He's been exposed to things I am not privy of. So that's the only reason if I see him saying things, I tend to listen maybe a little bit closer than the average person because I know whether he's crazy or what doesn't matter what I think of him. I need to, in my head, like, listen, this dude has been through some stuff I haven't. He's been around some people I haven't. He has money that most people will never obtain. Maybe let me just I'm not just gonna brush off this shit. Let me just try to break down what he's saying, right? So he said something else that was interesting too. Or he tweeted something that was interesting. And it was, I'll paraphrase. It was most basically free Puff. He said free Puff. And basically he was saying, y'all dudes, man, y'all dudes you're not standing up. You celebrity friends, you're not. And I found that interesting, Jay. I found it interesting because, and then I, I just thought about it, right? What do we say? Critical thinking. So let me think about what this dude's saying, man. And if you followed my career and my lyrics, I'm not very fond of Puff. Never have been. Probably never will be. But I'm able to still critically think about certain situations, even though I might not be fond of the person. Doesn't matter, right? I just want to hear what's going on. Um, I just found it funny that looking into the situation, I'm like, why doesn't he have bail? Like just little shit like that. Like, what? I mean, I know that he's a flight risk, but this murderers
Out
that
on
they
bail.
right out on a bail. Like, shouldn't he be able to fight his case from the outside? And I want to add something because this is how I look at the whole situation, as far as like especially how black people, us us black folks, how we look towards these celebrities, right? Especially like somebody like Puff. So, and I break it down into two different categories with this specific case. So we all got that friend, right? That you go out with and he's fucking crazy, can't control him, lashes off at the mouth, all this shit, right? It's a fucking nutcase. You go out with your friend, he's fucking trouble, and you see him in a melee, right? You see him in a melee. Are you the type to jump in that melee without asking questions? You know this motherfucker is crazy. You know he likes to shoot off at the mouth, but you don't ask a question. You just jump in the melee and like, fuck it, we'll figure this shit out later. Or are you the guy that says, "Hey man, you started it. I let you get the fair one, man. You start. I ain't got nothing to do with that, man." And you lecture him after the melee, right? So I look at it in those two. What type of person are you? Do you Do you do you let this guy just get whipped? Because that's how I look at it. Punished, or do we just as a community, a- as a race, do you let this guy just get punished, even though he's a piece of? You might think whatever you think of him, right? Or do you jump in the fight and say, "Hey, man, we'll figure this shit out afterwards. What's going on? Why does, what's going on?" Because it looks a little funny. It looks a little fishy from the outside. Like this dude been locked up a couple months, man. Like, has any official charges been? Was it just baby? I know you got some serious shit going on. Like, but what's the charges? Like, it just looks a little fishy from the outside. So when Kanye tweets that, I'm like, is he right? Is he wrong? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
So I actually think that's a really good way of looking at it. What you said about your friend who's out there getting in a fight, and I think the appropriate thing to do, again, if you've been rolling with this person, you know who it is that they are, and you know how it is that they conduct themselves. So when you take it upon yourself to keep them in your company, when they get into something, like, you might not agree with it, you might not want to participate in it, but you've decided to associate yourself with this person. So you also have to take what comes with that. And if that means that you're going to wind up in a scuffle that you don't want to be in, such is life, because that's supposed to be your man's, right? So you gotta have his back, and then you talk about it afterwards. Hey, stop running around out here popping off at the mouth at people and making me punch people when I don't want to fucking do that. Conduct yourself. But that's for private. That's for after the thing is over, right?
Right.
We're supposed to stand toe to toe when the battle comes. And then after that, we can discuss. But it's not while he's out there getting jumped and shit. You're like, oh man, this is a poor decision making. I told your ass. Like, that's not the right way to approach it. So I didn't really look at it in that way when Kanye had said the thing. But yeah, they've been associates for years. It's like, hey, you're attacking my people. I got his back here. And again, like you said in the beginning, Kanye has been in rooms that most people have not been in. He has been around people that most people have not been around. He has access to a level of people that most people do not. And I think that's what people miss, is they believe that because they're sitting there watching stuff on the TV and reading these news articles
Mm,
and a fucking social media posts, that they have a true idea of what's going on. They think that they know the exact same things, and they're filtering his actions through the information that they have. So that's always going to give you an inaccurate picture. And that's a huge problem that I have when people, excuse me, sit there and try and pick apart the public cases and stuff, and draw the conclusions about what it is that's going on with people because they're interested in it. But it's like, you weren't a part of that. You have
right.
the information that you're being shown, and they're showing you they're showing you for a reason. You're letting these people paint a narrative for you, and you're just going along with it. And I have a problem when people do that with any sort of thing, whether it be politics or whether it be cases that are made public or whether it be relationships and all that stuff. It's like, you have absolutely no fucking idea what it is that these people know. So most people who are sitting there saying Kanye is wrong are in no position to say that Kanye is wrong. They've just taken the stance that because they said Diddy was guilty, that therefore he's done all of these things, and therefore Kanye supporting him makes him a bad person. But it's like, you don't know why Kanye is supporting him. You don't know what it is that he's supporting. You don't know anything about any of that. Neither do I, but I am intelligent enough to know that I am unaware. I am
Right.
I'm not saying that I'm up here at the top of the mountain on the top of the world with all of these other people, right? But I am intelligent enough to understand that while I'm down here at the bottom, just because I can see the top, it doesn't mean I understand what's going on up top. But Kanye does understand what it is that's going on up top. And on top of that, he comes down every once in a while to tell people what's going on up top. But everyone at the bottom is so fucking arrogant that they assume, because they have an idea of what it is that goes on up there, and they've heard the fairy tales and the stories and all of that stuff, and they can kind of see up there a little bit, that they know better than the person who's actually been up there. And
Yeah,
and, and it's insane. And this is even separate from the Kanye thing. This is what keeps people trapped at the bottom.
he at least deserves a listen. I would think he at least, like, there's a lot of weirdos, man, a lot of weirdo billionaires, and that's ultra powerful and with ultra crazy obsessions and stuff like that. He at least deserves a listen when he comes back from that mountain climb up there with all these fucking crazy people, and comes down and and he whispers in our ears or he yells in our ears, and we just like, hey man, that motherfucker crazy.
But
Me,
it's it
I like to
the
listen.
interesting thing too is because Kanye started at the bottom of the mountain, right? And as he
Right.
started climbing it, he would say stuff, at different levels that people were on board with him. But once he got to the top and came back down and said something different, they just assumed that he changed. That they assumed that he went up as one of us and came down as one of them. But no one wants to entertain the possibility that he's still the general sane person that he was whenever he climbed up there. He could still have the same morals and values. He just saw different things that he wasn't able to see when he was lower down. He saw different things that he wasn't able to see when he was on TV for Hurricane Katrina talking about George Bush hates black people. That's what things look like from his current level. But then he got
Yeah.
higher up and realized, oh, I was mistaken, but no one's willing to entertain that as a possibility. They want to say that he's sold out. They want to say that he's gone crazy. They want to say that he's lost his mind. He was a genius as long as he agreed with you. But then when he said something different, rather than doing the logical thing and assuming that you thought this person was a genius this whole time, maybe he knows what he's talking about. You just said, "Oh, you disagree with me now. Fuck you."
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's crazy to me, man. Or look, man, I don't know Kanye, you don't know. He could be a complete fucking maniac. Who fucking knows? But
Also possible.
we don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't know. I don't paint him as anything, right? I don't paint him as anything. But one other thing I don't want to harp on. I just found it interesting. One more thing. The anti-Semitic stuff. That stuff is crazy to me, right? And I'll touch on a couple points before I pass it over. Um, he said a couple of things. I'm not talking about the hateful rant, or well, whatever they might consider hateful or whatever. I'll I'll focus on him saying something like they own legacy media, or entertainment, or music, or Hollywood, whatever the case may be. Uh, that's not incorrect. That's not incorrect. Like, so, I mean, I'm not, and that's not hate rhetoric. That's not incorrect. So for all y'all, yo, man, what that's true. That's true. And I don't got to be the all I seen fucking mystical being to realize that. It's fucking right in your face. It's right in your face. They own banks. I don't want to say they because that could be some, but I'm telling the truth. Like, it's not. It's like when you say it's like you got to dance around what we're not even. I'm not even using a slur. It's just the reality of it all. This is what it is.
But you see, this is what I was saying before. Is you see the conditioning that goes into this type of stuff, where it's like you're saying a perfectly normal statement, but you know that it's going to get flagged as racism or anti-Semitism or whatever. For example, let's say I was to sit here. It is common knowledge that the majority of nail salons are owned by Vietnamese people. So if
Yeah,
I was to say that the Vietnamese control the nail salons, no one's going to call that racist. It's also not a racist statement. It's a factually accurate and statistically verifiable statement, right? But when it comes to certain things, what you said gets flagged all of the time. This is hate speech.
raised.
How? How is this hate speech? In the same way that like when, let's use everyone else's favorite thing of Trump, when he says that the people coming from the Mexican border are doing A, B, and C, people automatically call that racist. But it's not racist if they're from Mexico, right?
Right,
If anything, the racist person is the one who heard it and immediately didn't hear people from Mexico, but heard Mexicans, right? You
right.
made it about their skin because he could take the exact same statements and apply it to Canada, and now you can't call it racist anymore. But they again, like I was saying from the very beginning, they skip over the substance of the claims in favor of what it is that they would like to call as some form of hate speech just because he's saying things. And that's the problem, is no one gets to addressing, is what he's saying true or not? Because if you go back to the thing about the nail salons, which is much less sensitive topic, apparently. If I was to say that all of the Vietnamese people own the nail salons and I'm trying to open a nail salon, but all of the people who own nail salons are trying to block me from doing so, and I say the Vietnamese won't let me open a nail salon, that's not a racist statement. It's a statement of factual accuracy in which their ethnicity is relevant and material to the claim that I'm making. So when he said stuff, I don't remember everything it was that he said, but when he was saying stuff about the Jewish people used young black people to, corrupt each other or whatever through their music and all of that shit, and it got skipped around what it was that he was saying just to flag it as some form of hate speech. Now, we sat here episode or two ago talking about how music is vibrational and frequency, whatever, and these things affect you. And they're making the things that they're making for a reason, right? So if all of the execs pushing this happen to fall under a certain category, I don't really see the issue with what it is that he stated. Now, again, I'm not in the music industry. You are, though. But so just because he's saying this thing, if it's factually accurate, it's not hateful. I think this is a thing that a lot of people miss out, is as soon as you mention a race, then it becomes a sensitive topic.
Yeah,
what
becomes racial.
Yeah, and I think that's what people have been conditioned to, is as soon as you mention one of these things, now what you're saying no longer matters. All that matters is that you addressed this group of people. If I say black people do X, then all that anyone's going to hear is black people. They don't care about doing X anymore. And I think that is, again, part of the conditioning in order to get people to avoid talking about certain things so that certain people can carry out certain agendas unencumbered and unquestioned, because questioning it becomes problematic, as they like to say.
Yeah, and just kind of thinking as we speak, doubling back to the whole slavery thing, what they did to slaves who kind of spoke out, to what they did to slaves who kind of went against the grain, so to speak. If they didn't, I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking, right? I'm just thinking. Right. So they would physically probably try to make an example out of you for the rest. And then all right, so I would even picture, and here go my mind going crazy. I can even picture slaves huddled up saying, one slave saying, "Hey man, look, this ain't right." And the other slave saying, "Hey man, just be quiet. Shut up. You're gonna mess it up." They going, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it kind of comes right back around. Even like, and it comes to Puff too. Like, yeah, he might be a piece of shit, but he's being whipped in front of. He's being. It looks like he's being made an example. That's what it looks like. I don't know for sure. I don't know the specifics. It looks like he's being made, and pertaining to Kanye, he's been made an example, right? Oh, damn, if you do that, I ain't trying to go where I ain't trying to do that. And I'm not praising these dudes, man. I'm not. I'm just pointing out what I see. I'm pointing out what I see. This dude has a fucking big ass mouth, and they don't like it. That I can see clearly. He has he's outspoken. He has a lot of fucking money, and they don't like it. That's what I see, right?
He's
So
uncontrollable.
Yes, you could make up whatever you want. Well, he's a coon. I don't know. He might be. I don't know. This is what I see. It
don't matter.
It don't matter. This is what I see. I see you got a black dude with a lot of money that is kind of broken free a little bit. Chain here, chain here, and he's running and he's screaming. They're after me. The motherfucker, anti-Semitic here, this, that, slavery. Oh, that guy's crazy. That guy's crazy, man. Nah, man, I look at things differently. Oh, this dude has a big mouth. He's uncontrollable. and they don't like it. When I say they, you can make that up all you want. And
Piece it together.
yeah, piece it together, right? And another thing, I'm just thinking of this right now, and this is touchy too. But I just before we end this little segment, him, Kyrie, and a couple other, they were hinting at things that were dangerous, right? I don't think you people. No, I say you people. You know what I mean. Not I'm not trying to be
Y'all
racist.
motherfuckers.
Y'all motherfuckers. I don't think y'all reading between the lines, right? I don't think y'all see the game within the game. So when Kyrie was going through his shit, certain things he was saying he was trying to speak to you without saying too much, right? So, for instance, they say, "Hey, Kyrie, the anti-Semitic stuff," and he would say, "How can I be? It's impossible for me to be anti-Semitic. It's impossible." And I'm like, "It's impossible?" And he says, "It's impossible." What does he mean? I know what he means. Read between the lines.
Kanye
Are
said
we
the
the
same thing.
do they want to do they want you to know who the originals are? Right? So he says it to you. He didn't say it outright. He said, "It's impossible for me to be anti-Semitic." Why is that, Kyrie? Because I am the original. I am an original Jew. That's what he meant. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth. I'm just reading between the lines. When he says, "It's impossible. How can I be racist against myself?"
Again, Kanye said the same thing.
He said the same thing. Y'all not
Outright. He
listening.
outright said it.
You're not listening. And it's starting to get frustrating because me and Jason are tiptoeing around this shit. They tiptoeing around this shit. You're not, because you don't listen. You motherfuckers don't listen. Read between the lines. It's impossible for us to be anti-Semitic. We could leave it there. I'm just saying
Nah, so
they
there's
said it. I'm not. I
but
didn't even say.
this is
Hey Jay, I didn't say it. I'm just repeating what they said, and I'm reading between the lines. Like, damn, what did he mean by that? Oh, I know what he means with the original. Oh, okay, yeah. Because how can we be racist against our? Okay,
Kyrie said it, Kanye said it, Kendrick said it too. And Jay Electronica didn't actively say it, but his action said the exact same thing. Now, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but if you understand what I'm talking about, then you understand what I'm talking about. If they understand what you're talking about, then they understand what you're talking about. And you should understand what it is that we are talking about. And if you understand what it is that we are talking about, you will understand what all of these other people are talking about a little bit more. You will understand the things that they were saying, and everyone doesn't sound so crazy because, as we said from the very beginning, we are observers, and observation will take you very, very far in this world. And while I have not been at the top of the mountain, and I'm not claiming that I have, there are I have been in lots of types of rooms that most types of people have not been in, as I'm sure that you have as well. And one of the universal laws, as above, so below, patterns repeat. Things that are like one way down here are also like that up there, just on a different scale. So if you know how certain people operate in certain conditions, then you know how they operate in the opposite of that condition as well, just by virtue of being in that. It's the bottom and the top have a lot more similarities than people realize. And again, I'm going to leave that there as a whole. Some people know, some people don't. That's cool. You get it. You get it.
Right.
But just real quick into what it is that you were saying about the Puffy thing. You made me think about a thing about him being made an example out of. So the way I see it is two different things, because what we were talking about with Kanye before is Kanye knows things that he did that we don't know. So he's being made an example of to the people who know what Kanye know. And that example that he's being made is don't do what he did or this will happen to you. Now, they know what that stuff is. We might not, and that's fine. But the example that he's being made of to the public is still furthering this narrative that everybody has, is that once you are of a certain skin tone and you get too successful, they will come for you. So it discourages the people at the bottom from trying to get to the top, and it discourages the people at the top from trying to upset the homeostasis of things up there. So it's something that works on two levels. And again, Kanye is running around trying to tell everybody exactly what it is that they're doing on both levels. But people just want to brush it off because he's a crazy person. And I also think that that's by design as well, because this made me think of a thing. This is going to be a completely random ass example, but there's a show called Community. Fucking Donald Glover / Childish Gambino was back in the day. And there's a scene, it's a weird show, but they're trying to get, it's a college, they're trying to get him to go to some air conditioner academy or whatever. They like kidnap him to take him there, and he's sitting in the room, and there's like a dude dressed as Hitler and a Nazi making a sandwich and shit. I mean, an astronaut making a sandwich and shit. And they're like, do you know why we have all of this ridiculous shit in this room? Because when you go tell people about it, nobody's going to believe you because you will sound fucking nuts. And it seems like a throwaway scene, but I'm going to leave that one there as well.
That's some shit right there. That was crazy. Transitioning from, but still staying on options, right, Jay? You said something interesting this week, and here's what it was. You text me, said, things only count if you choose them, right? You're only peaceful if you have the capacity to be violent, but you choose not to. And I thought that was dope.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was real dope because I believe the same, right? What I believe, you're only as good as the choices you believe you have. Yes.
That's a
you're
bar.
only as good as the choices you believe you have. I'll give you an example. You got a guy, lives with his mama, is unattractive, fat, no money, no car. He has nothing, right? But he has a girlfriend. And his girlfriend says, my man, the man I have is faithful. He's faithful. He very well may be, right? Take that same man, you give him a six-pack, give him a nice haircut, give him $1 million, give him a mansion. Does that same man choose to be faithful? And if he does, I believe he's truly faithful. Now, right? If a man has the capacity to be extremely violent but chooses not to, is that a peaceful man? Hell fucking
1000%.
Yeah. He's not the same as a man who cannot defend himself and doesn't have the heart or the determination or whatever it may take to get into an altercation. That you can't call. Can you call that man peaceful because he doesn't have the capacity to do otherwise? Right? Can you? No.
That man
That's
is
what
called
he's
a pussy.
called.
He is not
in
peaceful.
our world. Call him a bitch. Right? Now, like I just said, like you pointed out this week, and I thought it was so prophetic. Like, yo, I can do so many things that I choose not to do. And we said this life is about choices. Life is about choices. And I started to show off by saying that my daughter made a hard choice. And that most men, most women, most grown don't make hard choices. The hard choice for someone with the capacity for violence is to be peaceful. It's fucking hard as shit not to slap a motherfucker in the mouth. It takes, and you know, when you hear these cliche statements like, you may say something, man, it takes a hell of a man to walk away from a fight and shit like, or, you know, when you hear stuff like that, you're like, what? I get it now. It's not that you can't fight or you're not willing to. You chose peace.
Yeah, it's the It's the exact opposite, and like people will take that as it's not that you can't, or that you can't fight or you're not willing to. No, it's the exact opposite. It's that I can and I am willing to, and it's the easier thing to do right now. The easy thing to do when you know how to when you know how to defend yourself, so to speak. It's not defense in this scenario, but the easy thing to do when you know how to defend yourself is when someone says something that rubs you the wrong way, to punch them in their fucking face.
Yeah.
That's the easy thing to do. And it's also the instantly gratifying thing to do. But the grown peaceful thing to do is to know that that's not the route that you want to take, but you could, but then choose not to walk it. And most people are not in that position. Exactly like you said, that's one of my favorite examples, is the faithful thing. There are a lot of people who have girlfriends who believe that they are faithful, who are only not out fucking all these other women because they can't. It's not that they only want to be with you, it's that they only can be with you. Those are two vastly different things. And that's not what it is that you want, because that person will cheat on you, will turn on you the second that they get the option to. As soon as they have an option that isn't you, they will choose it, because they have never known what that's like. And this goes back to what we were talking about in the last episode, loyalty. You're only loyal if you have the option to not be loyal. If you have the option to cross somebody and it would benefit you to do so, and you opt not to, then you're loyal. Until then, you're not a loyal person. You're just a person who has not been tempted with anything. And without temptation, you're not any of these things. You're not loyal, you're not faithful, you're not peaceful, you're not any of these things that people consider to be positive if you're not choosing to be it. And that is what most people's problem is that they, again, going back to choices, most people are slaves to choices. As soon as most people get choices, they fuck themselves up. They take what is the most immediately pleasurable thing. They do the exact opposite of what your daughter did, and they make the easy choice. They're out somewhere, they have a girlfriend, and some attractive girl looks at them, and they're immediately over there trying to talk to her because, ooh, I have an option, and this is what feels good in the moment right now. This is pleasurable. They have the option to go buy their food and cook something healthy, but they go to the drive-thru because it's the pleasurable, enjoyable thing in the moment. People are crippled by their choices. People are, ironically, are slaves to their choices. People have so much freedom that they make themselves into slaves because they aren't capable of picking the hard thing or the not instantly gratifying thing. And there's a thing that I've seen on X where people are talking about they want to ban porn, right? Like, you can just
Yeah.
not watch porn. And you're not someone who doesn't watch porn if you don't have the option to watch porn. You don't have self-control if you don't have the option to not control yourself. And people want to take this shit away. Like, I am a sober person because I choose to be. There's all kinds of stores that sell alcohol directly fucking up the street from me. I can drive down the little fucking hills and shit and go to the gas station and get myself some fucking liquor. I can go get cigarette. I can go get all of this shit, but I choose not to. And that's one thing that I have an issue with when people sit there and talk about they chose these things because they were present. It's not because they were present. It's because you lack self-control. And that is most people's greatest downfall, is the lack of self-control, because when most people are given the choice, they choose to be the less honorable thing. They choose to be unfaithful. They choose to be disloyal. They choose to be violent. They choose to be whatever the fuck else it is that you could think of, because that's what
Except
feels best in the
when
moment.
it's time to make the hard decisions, all right, the example I made before. Hey, you hate your job, but you choose to work there. And
Because
if
it's
I tell you,
easier.
yo, just quit. Go take that. Go. You saved up some money. What you got? $1,000. Go invest that. Go do something with that. Go make something of yourself. It sounds impossible. Like, what do you mean? You sound crazy. I would never quit this job. You mean a job you hate? You mean the boss you would never quit that job, but you have the option to. That's your option. So I'm sorry, it's just crazy to me that people think like this, right? That people think like this, and I hate to harp on this shit, but I think it's crippling us. This mentality is
Absolutely.
crippling us, right? Because, look, I'm not the smartest guy on this fucking planet Earth, but I choose to work hard. I choose the harder route more than I choose the easier route. Right? That's it. That's and I will
The
continue to do so because every time that I choose the harder route, I grow from it.
the interesting thing I think is that people mistake these things, right? And I too pick the harder path, but overall it's the easier path. The actual harder path is the one that seems easier because the easier thing to do is all of the things that are going to fuck your life up. It's easy to make all of these shitty decisions that feel good, but they add up and they give you a terrible ass life. They make you unhealthy, they make you fat, they make you unaccomplished, they make you broke, they make you struggling, they give you shitty relationships, they make you drug addicted, all of this shit because you were picking the easy things in the moment. But it's the hard choices in the moment. The I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to choose the right food, I'm going to do the work, even though I could just be sitting here watching TV or whatever, that create the good life. So people are picking the easy up front for the hard later on, as opposed to picking the hard up front for the easy later on. It's short-sightedness, but I agree with the fact that it's crippling us, it's crippling everyone as a society as a whole, because people have these choices, but they act like they don't, and they act like what they're doing currently is the only thing that's possible. Like you see it all of the time with people walking around fat as shit, talking about, well, I don't have a choice and I can't do anything different. The fuck you mean you can't do anything different? You can't eat less food? Yes, the fuck you can. Or the people addicted to drugs and shit. Oh, I can't help it. Yes, you can. You can stop doing drugs. Like, these are choices. You can quit your fucking job and you can bet on yourself. You can do something to improve yourself. You can learn a fucking skill. You can invest. You can do all kinds of things. You could, if you don't want to just jump off the fucking hill and quit your job immediately, you could take all of the free time that you have from your 9 to 5, because it's a 40-hour-a-week job and there's 160 some odd hours in the week, and use your money that you have saved up, that $1,000, to learn how to do something else so you can transition out of it, to invest in certain things so you have money while it is that you're trying to figure out what it is that you're going to do. There are always fucking options, and they are the harder options, but as a whole they are the better options
Yeah.
for you. Those are the ones that are going to get you to where it is that you want to be. You don't have to just sit around living this shitty ass life and blaming it on every fucking
Yeah,
body
and that
else.
brings me to something else too, right? Um, Still with the theme of options. Um, Andrew Tate said something interesting, and I want to get your take on it. And he said it, and it never really left my brain. Like, it's stuck with me. And he said, and not as individuals, but as a collective, do we have options, or do we have the appearance of options? So he said, yeah. Tate said something to the effect of, yeah, you have the option to become a woman if you're a man. Like, you have the option to be stupid, right? But do you have the
Mm.
option to speak out and say the truth? Like, maybe a Kanye or whoever you want to choose, right? Whoever you want to choose. Do you have options? Like, can I stand up on a podium and speak the truth faster than I could fucking turn into a woman? So I have the option to do that. So basically, Tate was saying you have the option to be an idiot. Like, that's an easy option. They give you the appearance of options when you don't really have options when it comes to the truth and morality and stuff like that. What do you think about
Mm.
that?
I think that is a very interesting concept as a whole, because when you bring that up, it makes me think, yeah, I could go out right now and get gender reassignment surgery and nobody would, well, people would bat an eye, but no one would try and stop me from doing it. I could go out right now and do all kinds of I could go out right now and get drunk at a club and pass out in a fucking alleyway. But you're absolutely correct. You know, if we take it back to 30 minutes ago in this podcast, we came to a dead end in a conversation because we know if we went farther along in it, it was going to, at the very least, get taken down, struck down from the internet by the powers that be through the YouTube and Spotify censors and whatnot. So yeah, I would agree that we do to a point, have the appearance. I think we have options, and I think that we also have the appearance of options, because I think that one thing that comes with people being able to do all, they try and normalize all of this weird shit again, like you want to go get gender reassignment surgery, and then they try and frame that as they're giving those people options, and because of that you no longer have the option to speak against it. So they're giving you this really weird obscure freedom, but it seems like an
Yeah.
extreme freedom, but your price for that is the more usable day-to-day freedoms of being able to say whatever it is that you'd like. So it's always a trade-off there, and I think that you have the freedom as far as the speech thing. Like, I think that I can go online right now and I can say the same thing that Kanye said with minimal repercussions, because I'm not
Mm-hmm.
as large as Kanye. Therefore, me saying it is less detrimental to the powers that be. I think that once we hit a certain point, I think that we have less options as to what it is that we can say, at the very least free of repercussions. Now, things seem to be trending in a different direction with the recent, I know people hate this, but the recent change of office and Elon buying X and his powers over stuff. You seem to have a little bit more freedom to speak about
I got a
certain
point
things.
to that.
But
I
I
got a
also
point to
think
that.
that,
I don't mean to cut you off. Just to chime in,
Yeah, go ahead.
because I just thought of it, and I want to get your take on this. Is Kanye speaking out? Is that okay? Freedom of speech, right? Is that helping or hurting? Because they can actually be like, look, see, you got freedom of speech, and this dude is. You see what we do when we give you this? We could let's. So I'm thinking, are they using him? Is he being used as a? What do you think about that take? Where it's like, is it?
Mm.
Can they say, "Oh well, this is too weird"? See, you got freedom of speech, and look what this guy says. We're gonna have to scale back on this. We're gonna have to and use him as the pawn to be like, "Yeah, look, we tried when we, and this is
Yeah,
what we get. We get anti."
this is
Right.
what happens. And this is what I think is the problem with the people who condemn him for what it is that he's saying. Like, whether or not you agree with him, you should be supporting his right to say it, because him being able to say these things directly affect, it doesn't matter what you think about it. I'm of the belief that anyone should be able to get online and say whatever the fuck it is that they want. I don't care how it is that I feel about it. You can say it. It's different than doing a thing, but you should be able to say whatever it is that you want. I don't care if it's racist. I don't care if it's hateful. I don't care if it's fucking homophobic or just some weird out there off the wall shit. Like when they tried to go back in the day with all of the so-called misinformation shit. And the problem with trying to not allow people to say stuff is
Yeah.
it's a slippery slope, because once you can start canceling out someone what someone says, or they can't say this thing, like that was a big thing that they did with hate speech. And the problem with hate speech is that it's wildly subjective, because once upon a time hate speech was directed at racial or different race groups, right? But recently, hate speech has become you can't say that men aren't women. That's hate speech. So it's a very slippery slope when you start allowing people to classify different things as hate speech, where you have the, like we were talking about before, to say that all of these people own a lot of banks. Well, that's hate speech. Well, why? So all of these things are, you once you kind of open it a little bit, you open up a floodgate. So I'm glad that you brought that up again too with the Kanye thing. He should, whether you agree with him, whether you think he's wrong, you should be supporting his right to say the shit, because it will affect you. They will start canceling out what it is that you can say. And once you can't say stuff, then that's the reason that free speech is such a big deal, because it's so important to freedoms is to not be censored and to be able to point things out, because that's how you wind up not being able to speak against the government and shit, like in all of
I,
these other
you know
countries.
what? Me sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, here goes my fucking crazy brain. Here I go. I'm like, is it freedom of speech just because I can go online on someone else's platform and say what I want to say? I don't think that's freedom of speech. They're letting, just because someone's letting you do that, they own a platform. So the minute, all right, for instance, after a while, Elon shut down Ye. After a while, he's like, all right, enough. Yeah, he did. So
Did
yeah,
he? Is
after a
that what
while
happened?
it was after a while I was like,
Okay.
all right. So all right, so Elon smartly bought X so that legacy media wouldn't have a monopoly over, right? So you got one side and you got the other side. You got legacy media, you got new media. Uh, you could say one side is for this side, one side is for that side. We're not going to get into all that, right? But I'd say this: is it freedom of speech because someone's letting you say it? That's not. I don't know about that because it's not like I can like for instance, I can go outside right now and yell obscenities all I want. It's outside. No one owns outside. Like I could do what the fuck I want. I could say what I want right now without any like I'm not on anyone's platform. I'm on the earth. I could say what I want. Now, if I go on someone else's platform like X or Facebook or Zuckerberg's shit or YouTube, if someone owns these platforms and they're allowing you to say certain things and maybe you think you have the option of freedom of speech because you could say the F word, and when I mean F, I don't mean fuck. Right, you could say, oh man, they let me say this, man, that's crazy. They let you say these things. That is that freedom of speech because someone's letting you say something. Yeah, I fucked your head up. I fucked your
Yeah,
head
that's a
up
good
with that
question.
one.
Because I think so. I want to so because I want to say the thing in some capacity, like in order for your voice to be heard, there's always going to be some level of someone else hosting your speech, right? Because I mean, at the very least, someone is in charge of the fucking internet servers. So, you know, if you got your own website, someone's hosting it. But and that's the see that's another thing too though, because yeah, regardless of where it is that you are, yes, someone is functionally allowing you to say it, but that's another reason that you need to support people saying whatever the fuck it is that they would like to say,
Yeah.
even if you don't like it, because once you start cheering for people shutting down certain people, like if you cheered for, I didn't know that that's what happened with fucking Ye
It
and
was
Elon. I didn't know Elon shut him
it
down.
was
I
friendly
thought he
because
quit.
Ye said, "Hey, thank you, Elon, for letting me, kind of air out my, event. Thank you, Elon, for letting me vent. I'm a good night. I'm gonna shut it down." But Elon was like, "Yeah, that's enough."
So all of the people who are cheering for him to get kicked off or for him to get deplatformed because they're saying things that they don't like are also you're cheering for as a whole a dictatorship, because this is the road to where it is that this leads when people can't say whatever the fuck it is that they like. So yeah, I guess it's not, at the very least, it's not freedom of platform, or freedom of amplification of your speech. And again, that's why people should be supporting him saying this shit, whether you agree with it or not. Like he needs to have the right to be able to say these things. I see people say all kinds of stupid shit all of the time, and I'm like, well, this is ignorant, and I disagree with it. But I'm not like they shouldn't be allowed to say it. If anything, you should want people to say stupid shit so that people could pop up and say, hey, what you're saying is stupid. So stupid shit gets shut down and stamped out instead of being allowed to grow and fester in the dark somewhere
Right.
unchallenged.
And this is a bigger whole discussion because social media is. We were alive when social media wasn't here. A lot of people weren't, right? And people had the choice, right? You go outside, you walk around, you had the choice to to racially attack someone with slurs, or you had the choice not to, right? And if you did, right, it was
There were
repercussions in
repercussions in
real
real
life.
life.
But no one owned the platform or anything. I don't even think people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when, no,
Nobody owned the sound waves.
I had that same motherfucker got his ass kicked for saying some shit like that. You don't own the sound. You don't own sound. It's like he was right. He's right. But it
It
did
didn't
work
work
out
out
well
well
for him.
for
But
him, but he was
yeah, we
right.
don't own sound. But there was repercussions for you to go outside and just say random bugged out shit or whatever the case may be. But no one owned the fucking. You could go outside and say what you want. But the fact that Elon, I don't want to single out Elon, but I'll say this, man. I'll say this because now it is a slippery slope. You got YouTube, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Twitter, and all these platforms. You want to say what you want, but the reality of it is, you should watch what you say. You should watch what you say because I realize that people are watching, no matter how, or listening, or someone's watching. Right? You got to watch what you say, and that brings up another topic. And you text me a couple of topics, and I was like, "Oh yeah," and it's the news, right? And and it ties into what we're saying now. Um, Fake news, legacy media, new media, this media. Is the news real? Is it not real? And I'm like, I don't know. I always, and I'm gonna say it again. History is written by the victorious. So Elon's victory of buying X was a victory, right? He is victorious, and in some capacity, he gets to kind of dictate. All right, all right. It may not be, and I don't want to say exactly. I don't want to be careful, but all right. Legacy media is. Let's just say legacy media was fucking Democrat. New, I mean, come on now. And then so okay,
Sounds
so
accurate to
we have
me.
to combat that, don't we? There has to be another side. What's the other side? New media. I think Elon, well, not think, he had a fucking what a brilliant chess move by buying X and stepping in front of the monopoly and also gaining power. He's someone you need his voice now. Now they can combat the other side. So it's like a war. It's a war being fought that we don't know. Little of us know. We don't. A lot of people not even paying attention to this shit. Of it's like a fucking gang war being fought, and we don't. No one understands it. You just think you get on here and say whatever the fuck you want, but each side is leaning away, right? And then you can say X, you can say whatever you want to. It's still leaning away. Legacy's leaning away. The new media is leaning away, right? Because they're
Mm-hmm.
combating the two. So that's and I say that all to say freedom of speech. Not really, bro. Not really. I can't say what I want to say, dog. On X or wherever, you can't say what you really want to say. You can, but it will be serious repercussions if you really and it does matter your positioning, right? Of course, Kanye has a way bigger audience, so if he says something, it's going to be way crazy, and but I, I I really think the options are limited, bro. You can't really say what you want to say. Like even on our platform, we got to tiptoe. We can't say I can't straight out just say, "Yo, this is what this dude meant by saying when he said that." I can't. You got to watch it, even though it's freedom of speech.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. Like people think that I say crazy shit currently, but it's like I'm still
Absolutely.
censoring what it is that I'm saying because I know that I can go but so far. Like I'll test the waters a little bit, but I've never really spoken completely just uncensored or off the top of my head and said all of the things that I would like to say because I know that certain paths lead to certain things that, at the very least, at this particular moment in time, I might not be equipped to participate in the same way that someone like Kanye might, right? But Yeah, I agree with the new media thing kind of leading away, like the legacy media thing leans away. I think that, I mean, I don't know. Again, obviously, I'm biased because I happen to agree more with one side's perspective than the other side. But I do think that my bias is rooted in my love of objectivity and factual things that make sense to my brain. And I think that one's side is rooted in what it is that feels good to everyone's ears and is pleasing to them. So, but I think that, damn, that's a lot of.
I know, and there's a lot of stuff I said, and I didn't. I danced around a little bit, so it was hard to. I danced around a little bit, but you know what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
you
and
know
I'm
what
trying
I'm.
to try. So
You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to get at.
so let's let's go to the news thing, right? I think that at this point it is, at least as far as I can tell, it is pretty common knowledge that what's on the news is, if not all lies, just misleading or not what it is that it's being sold to you as, right? And I think that that's a commonly accepted thing. Like, I don't think that anybody with any degree of common sense is watching the TV and being like, yeah, this is factually true and a factual representation of what it
Hope
is that
not.
goes
I
on
hope
in the
not.
world, right? So
I
it
hope not.
that would be wild. So if people are able to come to the conclusion that the news, this is actually going to tie in way better than I thought it was, but people, if you could watch the news and realize that the news is fake, and you could come to the conclusion that they're unwilling to tell you what's truly going on now, right? If they're not willing to tell you what happened yesterday accurately, why do you think that they're willing to tell you what happened 300 some odd years ago accurately, right? Because if with enough time and resources, you could to some degree prove what it is that happened yesterday, but it would be much, much harder to prove what happened 300 years ago, right? And I know that they have all of these things where it's like these people verify documents, but you can also go down a whole entire rabbit hole of how the colleges are very
Hmm.
closely tied to the government. And where do you think these people learn how to verify these
Hmm.
documents? The motherfucking colleges. So they have these people who are verifying documents or teaching them how to verify fucking documents and all of that shit that they want them to verify. So anyway, my point being, if the news is fake, history is fake. And I think there are less people who are willing to acknowledge that, but there are still people willing to acknowledge that. But what I find it interesting is that people never take this down this path to its logical conclusion, right? If the news is fake and history is fake, why do people think that things like the Constitution are real? Like, why do you think that this story is true? Why do you think that how they came over here and set shit up is real? Why do you think that any of the story around the Bill of Rights and fucking Paul Revere and all of that shit is anything other than fables that they're trying to sell you to pitch whatever it is that they would like you to believe? Because you can go watch the world right now and see exactly how it is that they don't really abide by any of this
Hmm.
shit, the Constitution, and just do whatever the fuck it is that they want to me, it seems like it's a thing for show, right? Like back in the day, I worked at Target. Well, I worked at Target for like an hour. It was a terrible job and I quit. But they have a little mission statement for what it is that their company is about, right? Or like Walmart will tell you that they're there to provide low prices and all of that shit. So if the people at Walmart aren't even willing to tell you what the purpose of Walmart is, which is to sell shit, obviously, and make money, but they're telling you it's to give them a good customer experience and make everybody happy for low prices. If they're not even willing to tell you what you're obviously doing, why would you not extrapolate that up a level and assume that the government is accurately telling the people what it is that they're doing? It's just a fucking mission statement for whatever. And this goes again back to the free speech thing. Yeah, they tell you that free speech is guaranteed, but go online and say some shit that you don't like. I guarantee you, if we would have said what it was that we were saying earlier and just without any, if you know what we're talking about, you know what you're talking about shit, guarantee you this shit would have gotten fucking flagged or at the very least suppressed. It might not be big enough that we would have had any real repercussions for it, but I promise you that shit would have been pushed, whatever, however the fuck it is that you would like it, because you don't really have exactly what you're saying. We don't have true freedom of speech. True freedom of speech is I can literally say whatever the fuck it is that I would like. Probably that's not a threat. I imagine that's separate, but that I can say whatever the fuck it is that I want. But we all know that I can't say whatever the fuck it is that I want. You can't say whatever the fuck it is that you want. We can't say whatever the fuck it is that we want without not the repercussions of some sort of threat or causing some sort of commotion, but the threat of what certain people that you see are facing now, of what certain people like Kanye are speaking against now, and what it is that he's facing. And that's not, you're absolutely right. That's not true freedom of speech. That is, but they try to, again, they try and blanket these things and make it seem like it's different, because they throw things on it like anti-Semitism, they throw things on it like hate speech, like racism, like homophobia, like transphobia, like all these different, they throw all of this shit on it to make it seem like they're righteously
It's
shutting
crazy
people up.
because when you go on X and you see people use words that they haven't been able to use in years, and they get excited. Hey, I can say so and so. I could say the F word again. Wow, I thought we had. I was like, yo, what the fuck
You're
is
a
going
fucking
on,
child.
dog? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. But that Walmart part, the Walmart thing, it made me think of something. And I was talking to my wife, and then just be a quick point about America being a brand and a business, right? And people thinking
Absolutely.
is with a slogan, like America's a brand with a slogan, home of the brave. They got a
They got their own
jingle.
jingle.
It's a fucking business, dog. And however you want to put it, I don't think for a while the Democrat, in my opinion, the Democratic Party was ruining the brand of America. That's what this was about, right? And for most Americans, I don't got no dog in the fight. I don't give a fuck. But I'm just on the outside looking in, seeing what I see, and I'm like, yo, this shit is a brand, and they kind of fucking the brand up. And I say that if you're outside of America and you're looking at America and you're like, who the fuck is this motherfucker? Then you about to bring this broad in. She's stuttering and shit. She don't know what the fuck she like. And they talking about men marrying men and this. Like, yo, this they not that's not the America I know. They fucking the brand up on the outside looking in.
Who are these
Right. Like,
dudes
yo,
with
what's this?
breasts?
Like, that's not the land of the free, home of the them. What happened to those dudes?
Land of
Right.
the
Like,
free,
so it's
home of the
like
something.
I think I think, the other side read the room better, like I said before, and it was just like, yo, let's bring the brand back. You got the hat, you got the slogan, "Make America." Like it was. Y'all don't understand. It just was the brand. He's so Trump, at the very least, is a decent businessman. So it's like branding, slogans, jingles, all this other shit, business. It's like, all right, bro, here. I need a brand, I need a hat, I need the slogan, make America. Boom, boom, boom. America is a fucking brand, and it's time, and they want to bring the brand of America back. Right? Because at the end of the day, like we both said, like both parties kind of it's gonna do this anyway. But the thing that's different is the you can't fuck the brand up while we don't fuck the brand up. And that's what I think on the outside looking in my opinion, like I said, no dog in the fight because I don't vote. I'm not Democratic or Republican. But on the outside looking in, and looked at it, the appearance was like, oh, these dudes are fucking the brand up.
Yeah, I also think I absolutely agree with that. They didn't painted the red, white, and blue, all the other
Not
fucking
good.
colors, and
Not good. Not
tried
a
to
good
make it
look.
into some
Not a good look.
weird shit, but not at all. But separate from that though, I think it goes back to a lot of what it is that we were talking about, starting with the illusion of freedom, right? And then one side is pitching that you have the freedom to change your gender, or you can have your abortions or whatever, and those things seem like you could do whatever it is that you want because you could do those things, but everything that comes with it is the exact opposite, right? And in the push for trying to get us to accept that men are women, then they also want to take away a huge part of the things that we are allowed to say. Now censorship comes with that, and with censorship again comes loss of other freedoms. And in the same thing with the DEI, right? It sounds good to people who don't want to try, but you unpack what it is that actually is, it's the more racist thing in and of itself to be like, well, I don't think that you can actually be qualified for this position, and no one's going to hire you because all they're going to pay attention to is your skin color and not your skills. But that's also depriving people of certain things, and it's just pandering to the people who want handouts. And the problem with when you want handouts and when you accepting handouts, every handout that you accept, you're giving away pieces of your own freedom. So when you're asking other people to help you, you're also giving away parts of your own autonomy to them, because now you owe them things and they have control over you, right? So if you're taking money from somebody, like a job thing, like if when you go to work, you're getting money from your boss in order to, or in exchange for you performing certain services, but you're also giving up some of your freedoms. Like, you can't just come into your job not wearing a fucking shirt. You can't come into your job just talking all kinds of crazy. You can't come into your job smelling like alcohol or getting hot. I mean, depending where the fuck it is that you work, but you're giving up freedoms in exchange for these things. And the person who is giving you the money has the ability to tell you not to do certain things. And if you believe you don't have another option, like you can't go out and do some other shit, then you are
Mercy.
at his whims. Whatever it is that this person wants is what it is that you have to do, and that's just what it's going to be. And people don't realize that when they're looking for all of these handout shits, and that's what people wanted with the other side, was the handouts and the weird shit at the expenses of their own freedom. And I think, like you said, in addition to the branding thing, again, I don't fall on either side. I don't vote. I don't believe in either party. I believe both of them are a facade and a lie. But I do think that one was pitching more personal freedom, which I am on board with.
It sounded like they was. I mean, yeah, right.
That's true.
It's I just don't. I'll say this. I think, like I said before, I just believe they read the room, man. Like, these dudes are goofballs. We're gonna go this route. We're gonna go this route. These dudes are crazy. We're gonna give the appearance, at the very least, the appearance of truth. The appearance of, hey man, hold on. Maybe that woman shouldn't be, maybe that man, that 6'5" man, shouldn't be boxing that woman.
What a novel fucking concept. Maybe we shouldn't let dudes fight women just because they put wigs on.
That was so simple. It was so simple. You feel me? Like, duh. Duh. The fuck?
But see, that's a good point, because I think it was he went on fucking Rogan talking about who actually wants these things in real life, and that's a great point, because I agree. Like, who really wants this shit? And they just hung their hat too much on the weirdo room, shit.
Dog. I just think the other side read the fucking room. Like, hold on, wait a minute. If we just appear to be logical, if we just appear to be logical, we could get this one.
Yeah, it's so like they made it too easy with all of this, with all of the other shit. Like, it's like, God damn, they absolutely, like you said, misread the room. It's like you went too all in with the weird shit, and you went too in with your fucking weird inclusion and all of that shit. It's just it's you went too far. So, you went too far left.
Even though I do, like, I'm with you. I agree. I'm not, like I said, I don't have no dog in the fight, but I do agree or align more with the way they were thinking. I'll just say they. I do, but I still don't believe them. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't fucking believe them.
Motherfuckers lying.
Right. I just better. It just made more sense. It just made more sense this time. I don't fucking believe them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck, but they just made more sense. And so,
yeah, it kind of comes down to whose lies do you want to come true? Like, do I want your lies to come true? Yeah. Do I want your lies to come true?
Do I want a 6'8" man beating on a woman with a wig on? Like, no, I don't. Like, nah, I'm not with that. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's it's absolute insanity. Like we don't want all of this awkward, strange shit. And there's like the shit that you see of all of the girls who were like deprived. It's not funny, but like the girls who were like deprived of scholarships and shit because they got beat out by dudes in fucking track meets and swimming. Like it's absolute fucking insanity. Like you're ruining
Yeah, that's
people's
crazy.
lives to cater to a bunch of fucking mentally unstable people. It's absolute fucking
Yeah,
insanity, man. Like and like you said, they read the room and people. And a part of it is too is because people weren't allowed to speak on it for so long, and they were only allowed to come out in
yeah,
agreement of it. That it gave the illusion that everybody was on board with it, and that was their own fault in suppressing all of the people on Twitter before fucking Elon bought it and let them say whatever it is that they want to. Is they created their own echo chamber. Where they created themselves to seem to be the majority, forgot that they did it,
I
and fell
agree.
for it.
Absolutely. And I just want to, I don't want to harp on this too much, but I noticed something. It's me being observant. Elon's a powerful guy, man. He's even more powerful now. Um, I see something. He's got a glimmer in his eye, man. I don't know if I like it. He's got a glimmer in his eye, man. I don't know. Just me on. I don't know these. I just be being observant. Ah, him and the president might be bumping heads soon. I could see a glimmer in this dude's eye, man. He's got some leverage, man. He has got some leverage. I don't know this for a fact. I'm just observing, like I'm the way he moves, the way he talks. I'm like, and I'm like, I don't dislike him or like I said, I don't have an opinion on him. I don't dislike him or like him. I'm just observing. I'm like, damn, this dude, he got a twinkle in his eye. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it though. He's because this dude is uber aggressive and uber ambitious. You know, and we say, I know you say, I've said this before, even in raps. Like I've said this in a rap. Yo, if your dreams and your aspirations don't scare you, you probably need bigger aspirations and dreams. But nah, not this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
His shit. I think his aspirations and dreams is kind of fucking scary. Sometimes, like robots and chips and space and like I don't know. I see a little twinkle. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I see the twinkle.
The robots and the brain chips are definitely some wild shit. Like I don't know. I'm all here for progress and growth and innovation, but like I also sit and think at a certain point, like, do
Yo, chill.
certain things need to be
Right,
advanced? Like
chill.
let's look for example, right? Like people got their fucking PS5s or whatever, right? Like, do video game graphics need to be better than
Chill.
that? Like at what point do you want to run around looking like you're shooting real people? Like, is that
Yes.
good? Should you be doing that? Like, should you be able to play realistic looking virtual reality games? Should you be able to implant an iPhone in your brain? Like, are these things that should we have robot
No.
butlers? Should our cars
No.
be able to drive places? And I know I sound old and I know I sound paranoid and I know I sound crazy and I'm perfectly fine with that. But like look at fucking
Yeah.
Skynet. Like I'm aware Terminator is a fictional movie, but look at fucking Skynet. Like at a certain point, because the thing is they always paint the robots as coming to the logical conclusion that
Yeah.
humans need to be
Always.
enslaved for
Always.
their own good. And the thing is, I can see how that makes sense personally. And I'm not even fucking as smart as the robots. I completely understand the logic that I think that most people would benefit from countries being ran by righteous dictators. I'm
Right.
aware that that's hard to come by, but we talked earlier about what people do with their own freedoms. People take their freedoms and
Yeah.
become fat drug
Right.
addicts. Like they clearly
Right.
can't be fucking
Right.
trusted with it. So like, I don't know. Like at a certain point, it's like innovation for the sake of innovation. And I feel like as a whole, it's going to come to a point where it's far more harmful than it is good. I'm not saying that you can't innovate other things. Work on medical technologies and stuff, and work on actually
Right.
being able to cure things instead of just trying to infinitely medicate people. Like, there are so many things that you can do. And I understand it's cool to go to space and all of that, but like, what is this? What's going to happen? What
I
are we
don't
going to do
know,
out there in
man.
fucking space for real? Again, I'm not him. Maybe I'm not a world-class genius, so I don't know all of the things, and it's beyond me to be able to comprehend. I could just see how a lot of these things could possibly go badly. People got iPhones and video cameras and use them to
Crazy,
do all
right,
kinds of
right.
terrible shit. Like, you could, like, if you go on, you could go through in Twitter and see the kind of thing, or X, so you could see the kind of shit that people post. Like, yeah, and that's going through moderators and stuff. And people are perfectly comfortable putting all kinds of atrocious, terrible shit online. What do you think they're gonna do with robots and
No,
brain
man.
chips? And fucking, I don't
No,
trust Siri. I'd turn Siri off on my phone because I don't trust that bitch. I don't have no fucking Alexa in my house. You think I'm gonna put an Alexa in my fucking brain and trust that someone's not
come
going to switch it
on.
off and turn me into some sort of weird fucking Terminator
So
cyborg
you with me
robot?
on
Like,
it? You with me on that?
I don't,
There's a
like,
point that you got to stop at.
all the way, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, at a certain point, stuff is good. There's other stuff that you can
Medicine,
focus
whatever
on.
the case, like you said, like curing
Better trash
something,
disposal.
dog.
Like, there's landfills and shit all over the world.
Yeah,
Figure
just
out what to do with
yeah.
that. Like, we don't need the brain chips. And there's a, have you ever seen
Oh yeah.
Watchmen? So I'm kind of the belief, like, you think
Mm-hmm.
about Dr. Manhattan, right? Like, he got his little thingy and then he became smart and all knowing, and then in his infinite wisdom he was like,
Yeah,
oh, people are pointless, I'm
yeah,
leaving. So once you advance yourself to a certain point, I feel like that's what most people will
yeah,
come to the conclusion of, is that there's no real
yeah. Like
fucking point to
Thanos, the
this.
motherfucker.
Like, for all of the
It's,
stuff it is
it's
that we,
yeah.
that's 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 the logical conclusion to end of it, to all of it. Because, like, for all that we could talk about by having your purpose and all of this stuff, like, on a much bigger universal scale, it don't really fucking matter. Like, if the entire Earth was to cease existing tomorrow, the universe would continue on. The rest of the planets would still spin. This, all of that shit would happen. I mean, it might throw off a little bit of this fucking galaxy, but there's infinite galaxies. It wouldn't affect anything overall. So I feel like advancement to a certain point just leads to, I think that advancement to a certain point by default leads to
Yeah,
nihilism.
absolutely. And that was my point in seeing the twinkle in the eye. And I this and the ambitions and aspirations being a little too much for me. That guy, like, yo, dog, chips and robot. Ah, yo, you gotta chill, dog. Like, you gotta chill. So that's something I'm observing. I keep a close eye on it. It doesn't affect my life right now. I don't let it, stress me out or anything. But it's something I think about. I like, this guy looks rather cheerful of late. He looks rather spry of late. Like, he's got a glow about him of late. Like, why this motherfucker? I'm gonna watch this motherfucker. I gotta keep an eye on the motherfucker. I don't know whether he's gonna be the good way or the bad way, but I gotta keep an eye on this motherfucker. I suggest you just the game within a game podcast has got our eye on fucking Elon Musk, because the twinkle and
That's
the chips and the fucking robots, we gonna have to,
that could go
yeah.
very good or very bad. Like, you can, like, there's no in between with the thing. If you're either a fucking savior or a James Bond villain trying to do all
No
kinds
in
of
between.
wild shit. So that, but yeah, this is how you fuck around and accidentally create. You ever Resident Evil, where you
Yeah,
create the fucking viruses
yeah.
and everyone turns into zombies because you was too wild trying
And
to
for what?
invent some crazy shit
And
like
for
that. That's how
what?
that happens.
Like, for what? Yeah. So
Yeah. I know. I think there are much more noble usages of time than, creating super advanced technology. Like there's a lot of shit. Like I'm a big believer that you can't just help people, and there's no real way that you can solve homelessness without fixing people or whatever. But there are a lot of things
Absolutely.
that you can do for the good and
Absolutely.
benefit of the world. And I think that I don't necessarily believe that technological advancement is the
Yeah,
epitome
man.
of that.
Maybe we watch too many motherfucking movies.
Maybe it's just too much horror
Uh,
sci-fi shit. Who the fuck
shit.
knows, man? But things exist
Hey,
like this
man, it's
for a
nothing.
reason. Like we're not the
No.
only ones who think about these things. There's a reason that like fucking Stephen Hawking and all of that shit was. Even Elon Musk was talking about how AI was a terrible idea and should not
Yes.
be left unchecked. So like, what do you think? What do you think brain chips are going to do? Like, you think people are going to use AI with
Come
their brain
on,
chips? Like,
man.
come
What are
on.
we doing, dog? So yeah, I mean, the stuff that we should be paying attention to, I don't think we are.
No, you get distracted by the nonsensical shit
Like
like the
baby
baby
oil,
oil.
dog. Yo, man, let that man get a bail, man. Let him get his bail. But can a Nick?
To be clear, this is not a commentary on what
No.
it is that he did or did not do. This is the problem with shit. This is the problem. This is the problem. People don't actually care if he's guilty, right? People just want him to be whatever it is that they would like him to be. Like I remember it's not about court. It's not about someone being found guilty. It's just what you want to happen. I remember a few years back, there was this woman, I think her name was Casey Anthony, and they said
Oh
she
yeah,
killed her
yeah.
daughter or some shit like that. And everyone decided that she was guilty. They went to trial and found her not guilty, and people flipped out because you don't care if she did it. You just wanted her to go to jail. You don't care if Diddy did it. You just want him to go to jail. You don't care about any of these people who did these things. You just want them to be what it is that you want them to be. And if they had arrested someone that you didn't like, you would decide that they were not guilty no matter what it is that happened. So let the shit be. The court cases are none of your fucking business. And question why this person who's not a murderer or has not been charged with anything formally has not been let out of jail. And
Crazy to me. I don't
that's
even like
insane.
dude. I don't even like him. But
That's
dog,
wild.
he
I don't
yeah,
give a
like
fuck
I
about
don't
him in
give
either
a like
direction. I don't know anything
dog. I
about
don't
him.
even like dude, but he should be able to get a bail. He should be able to get a. He should be able to get a bail. Like, they say he's a flight risk. All right, well then, do what you do with the rest of the. Put him on house arrest. Yes,
Put a fucking ankle
do what you
monitor.
do with the
Don't let
rest of
him fly.
the rest of the folks. Put an ankle monitor. Come on, he wouldn't be able to leave this country.
It's not like he could. It's not like he
No,
can run around in secret. Like
no,
no one's gonna
like
notice him. Like he
stop
just
it,
put a hood on and go to the
stop
airport.
it.
Like come on. Like what's he gonna do? Get a fake ID? It's like what are you doing with this
Yeah,
fake ID? I
dog.
know who
Like,
the
yo,
fuck you
stop
are.
it.
Like
He's not a flight risk.
he's famous in that sense that he can't pretend to be
Yeah,
somebody
he's
else.
not
It's
a flight
fucking
risk.
crazy.
Where the fuck is he going to go? You'll know every way. Like you said, he's fucking. What he's going to fucking wear a mask? It's not a flight risk. He deserves a bail. Everybody deserves a bail. Whether you could post it or not, you still deserve a bail, right? If you ain't fucking raping kids or
I
whatever the case may be, catching bodies,
mean, you're not
mass
some
right.
mass murderer or sexual
You should
predator,
probably
then
get a bail, right? So, and then he's been in jail for months.
I think he's been in jail for like
Right?
damn near a
Like, what
year
the
at this
fuck
point.
is going on? Like, and I'm like, yo, I'm taking a closer look at him. I'm like, hold on, this dude should get a bail. This dude should get a bail. I'm not saying he didn't do this or didn't do that. I'm just saying
That's
right.
completely
It doesn't
independent of
matter.
anything. And then again, the whole point of the court thing, the whole entire point that it's supposed to be is
Guilty.
innocent until proven guilty. So like this is the problem that people have with these things is they take allegations as fact that he did it. Anyone can go say anyone did anything. I could sit here right now and say someone did something. It doesn't make it true. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that this is not for you people to fucking decide. This is not y'all shit. You have no skin in this game. You're just invested in
Let me
watching
ask
the
you something,
downfall of
yo,
someone
if you
else.
know. What's his charges? What is he like? What is he actually in prison for?
Oh, I have absolutely no
Me,
idea. I know that the extent that I know about his thing is he got arrested and the FBI or somebody raided a bunch of his houses and they kept talking, and then they had a bunch of videos of how he knew Justin Bieber. That's the extent of what it is that I know about
And I
this. I don't
know
know.
I
I don't
know
know
that
past that.
there was the thing with the female Cassie, and that was the videotape. That was horrible. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm thinking, oh, that's what it
Oh
was. It
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
was horrible. But then he would get a bail for that, even though as horrible as that is. But then they went to try. She settled out, and she got. So that was settled. I think. I'm not sure. Like I haven't done my research, but I know
Yeah, apparently that's a.
me either.
I don't keep track of all these things. I saw it when they were talking about it, about how it
Yeah,
was settled out of court or
yeah,
whatever several years ago. But then which kind of makes it messed up that they went and released the tape about
yeah.
it.
And
But
then,
I don't know.
but
I don't know anything about it.
I'll say all that to say he should probably get a bail. And Kanye was trying to he was trying
That's
to
what
bring
Kanye
something
said.
to our attention. That's all. Whether you like him, whether you're not, whether he's right or wrong, that's just try to critically think about your options, right? Your options to make decisions, right? Critical
Yup.
thinking, people. Let's just fuck critical thinking. Just think. You don't even gotta be critical, man. Just think.
Thank you.
You
Your
could
own
think.
thoughts,
Like
though.
even if you hear the most outrageous shit, like slavery was a choice, and you're like, what the? Take a deep breath and think, and you might.
Exactly that.
No, you
You
don't
don't
gotta
have to
agree.
agree with it.
You don't gotta
You
agree.
don't have to agree with it. But if you disagree with it, you should
That's it.
know why. You should know why
That's
do
it.
you disagree with this? What in your brain says I disagree with it and why? Because if you don't know why, this
Yes,
is not your own thought. You're just being outraged because you were
there
told
it
that
is.
you should be outraged. Whatever you think about it, think it's right, think it's wrong, but think
There it
your
is,
own
Jay.
thoughts about it.
You just nailed this whole pod right there. You just nailed it. At least know why you disagree. We're gonna leave it. At least could you just know why you disagree? Could you know why? Hold on. Could you at least know why you're outraged? Could you at least explain in words? Could you verbalize why are you outraged? Tell me.
Beyond
I'm
just it's
mad.
offensive.
Yeah, beyond that.
Beyond
Yes.
why is it defensive? What about it is offensive? What about it is insensitive?
That's all.
Expound. And how did you come
Right.
to believe this thing? Because I know what I think
Right.
and I know why it is
Yeah.
that I think it. You know what
Yeah.
you think. You know why it is that you think it.
Right.
We discussed it prior. But most people have absolutely no idea why they think what it is that they believe that they think. It's just knee jerk, this is what you were told. Slavery is a
Yeah.
choice. That's
Tell me.
offensive.
I didn't.
Why?
My thoughts about it. I didn't read in the book. I didn't see a meme. I didn't see a caption. I didn't see a little 30-second clip on Instagram or Twitter or X or whatever the case. I thought about it, and I, in my own brain and my own thoughts, cooked up a thought about it. And I said, these are my thoughts. Whether they be right or wrong, this is what I think, right? No one else had their fingerprints on what I'm thinking.
I say all of the time, it is better to be fully wrong about a thought that you have cultivated yourself than it is to be right about something but not know why you think it.
That right there that's a bar. That's a bar right there. Matter of fact, let me write that. Let me write that down. You going?
It's gonna
Yeah,
pop
yeah,
up in
yeah.
the
Hold
next
on.
verse.
Look, let me jot that down real quick, Jay. I'm gonna shout you out on that. I'm gonna shout you out. Oh, and with that, yeah, I'm gonna shout you out.
Hey,
And with that being, a little segue. Yes, little segue. The Final Call album will be out this Friday. Joint album with Dave East. It's called The Final Call. It's going to be released on the 21st, the day that Malcolm X was assassinated. And it is, I don't want to say it's a tribute, but I'm honoring, it's an honor. It's an honor and it's a respect. And I look up to this guy, right? I looked up to this man. So we're gonna drop it on the day that he was assassinated, just to bring light to the day. And yeah, and it's crazy. Jay got it early. About when did you get that album?
Shit, probably December
Yeah.
sometime. I think I
So
heard it.
yeah, we working, man. Just keep an eye out on that. Keep a lookout on that. And it's a lot of game within the game on that album. So listen to the words.
Yeah, 1,000%. You know what? I actually, you said it's not a tribute. I kind of disagree. I think subject matter wise, or what it is that you're going on, like I can absolutely see the influence. And when you told me when it was that you were dropping, I'm like, yo, this is the perfect project to drop on that day. So if you're looking for some game in some bars, which is what I love personally, then that's where it is that you want to go. And the features are crazy too. I know it surprised me when I heard that shit. So it was real cool to hear
Don't do
you out
that.
rap Jay
Don't do
Electronica.
that.
I said it. That's fine.
Don't
You ain't
do
say it.
that.
I said it.
Don't do that. Don't start no shit, man.
Hey, people
Don't
gonna sit
start
there
no
and make the
shit.
comparison. You didn't
We
say
ain't
it.
gonna
I
start
said it.
no
I'm
shit like
here.
that.
So we can we
Nah,
can we can
we
blame
gonna
me.
blame you on
We
that.
can go bar for
We're gonna
bar with
blame you.
me.
So you want to tiptoe around some subject matter? I'm tiptoeing around all that shit. I want no problems with that. Nah.
That's cool. I don't rap, so
Nah, yeah,
I'll
that's
take
what's
the
up. But
smoke.
yeah, nah,
But nah, the whole thing goes hard though. From your shit, Dave shit, the features on there, fucking Jay, fucking Method Man, and you introduced me to somebody
two
new.
G's.
Uh,
Yeah,
22 G's. I heard the name, but I never heard him rap until then, and that was a
yeah,
great
young
ass
boy, man.
introduction. So
Young boy. He's a he's a wild boy, but he's a good kid, man, and I consider him a little brother. So just trying to make the connection with the youth and bring them into our world a little bit. I could have easily tried to do some drill shit, but we talked about that. We talked about the frequencies and all that type of stuff. Not that we was on there preaching,
yeah, nah, it's better
right?
bringing him in
With
this direction.
little feeling to it. So just keep an eye out for that, man. The final call, that's the name of it. But this is game within the game, and we just gave you some game. Look, we was reading between the lines today. We was reading between the lines, and look, I want to say something. I want to end the show off like this. We did a lot of tiptoeing. We did a lot of tiptoeing, and I would say, and I want to speak for Jay. I will speak for myself. I personally did a lot of tiptoeing, so I was jump yeah, like a hopscotch. Ooh, ow, ow, ow. Ooh. What is he saying? Like I'm trying to, and this is why I get mouthy, and when I start to go, it's right. So I really, this is why I don't do interviews, because once I go, I go. So I really want to watch what I say. So I did a lot of tiptoeing. Jay, I know Jay. I've gotten to know Jay. He did some tiptoeing too. But we did it for your own good. We did it for your own good.
So here is the thing. Here is the game within the game. Is we are both very direct people, and y'all. I know we're only a few episodes deep, but I guarantee you that by this point in time, you're like, yes, you guys are very direct. So the game within the game on this is ask yourself, why is this what it is that we chose to tiptoe around? That's just as important as what we were tiptoeing around. The
Yeah,
reason
that's
behind the
that's a great
tiptoeing.
point. That's a great
Read
point.
between the
That's a great, and this
lines.
that's what this show is about, reading between the lines. At some point, we're gonna fucking we're gonna bombard you with some shit. Um, just a little too early in the game, and we're look, man. Like I said, I could get a little mouthy, so let's just take it slow. And like Jay said, read between the lines. Try to think about what we're trying not to say, and why, and why.
And
Why
why?
are we not trying to say these things? Right?
And I cannot stress this enough. You don't
Oh,
need
hell
to
no.
agree with everything that we're saying. But if you don't agree, then you should know why. Why do you disagree with it? Not because you don't like the way it sounds. That's not a reason unless you're fucking 5. When you are an adult, that's not a reason. Why do you not like it? Why do you disagree? Why do you think it's wrong? Why do you think it's harmful? Why do you think it's offensive? Disagree all the fuck you want. That's fine. I'm not saying that I'm
Not at
right.
all.
We're not saying that that we're
Not
right.
at all.
He's not saying that he's right. We are saying this is our perspective. If you have a different one,
Yes.
fine, but
And
know why.
last point, me and Jay will be going live soon. We will be going live soon. So we'll be talking to you people live. That's what I want to really get into. I really want to hear you guys' perspectives live and direct in real time. Soon. Very soon. Game within a game.
Yeah, lives coming the fuck soon, so we'll look out for those. And for now, we are out.